be able to adapt to that situation a little bit quicker than what Mindfreak have been able to do. So it's been a fairly comfortable day thus far for Mindfreak, for Sydney Drop Bears, which is what we expected.
Look, to be fair, maybe it's been comfortable for Mindfreak as well because they probably did not expect to come away with a victory, but if they can do it anywhere, Jordan, it's going to be here in Hanamura in Japan. Anything is possible. More so on Assault, anything is possible. Let's see what Mindfreak can do. They're going to be starting off here on defense. The Drop Bears going to kick this one off on attack.
Looks like it's fairly standard stuff on both sides. Goats compositions Tita again onto that Reinhardt. Davey.
Uh-oh. Yeah, gets booped straight back in. Haast is low. Tita goes down very quickly. Nice little play coming out from Mindfreak as well. Was that a Swilko right click?
Not sure. I didn't quite catch it, but I wanted to say Davey has looked pretty good so far on that Reinhardt. So at least for Mindfreak, they've been able to force that Reinhardt versus Reinhardt matchup. I think when Tita been onto the Winston, that's really where we've seen Sydney Drop Bears absolutely steamroll Mindfreak, but the 50-50 matchup more so comes from that Reinhardt matchup.
Trance now available here for Goobs. Mindfreak doing a reasonable job of starting to get these ultimates up, and this is precisely what they need to do if they're going to try and make a decent time here on defense. Potentially, they can hold this out as long as possible. Grab will come through, countered by Goobs there, and that trance we just spoke about. Davey holding strong with the right click there on Reinhardt. Shield very low as well. A Kraken now with an aggressive trance. Earthshatter comes through, followed up with a Graviton Surge and Self-Destruct looking for kills.
This is going to be big for Mindfreak, cleaning things up quite nicely. What Sydney Drop Bears there was trying to do is they were really trying to force the issue. You could see throwing out that grab. They weren't really all in position, but admittedly there was obviously the Transcendence for Mindfreak to defend against it anyway. And then a Kraken himself throws down his Transcendence. In a situation like that, realistically, I don't think you see a Kraken using that Transcendence very often at all. Straight after that Transcendence ends, Addy's got his grab available, and there's nothing that Sydney Drop Bears can do to defend against it.
No counter, nothing to deal with. Earthshatter this time aggressively used by Tita, and that was not a bad one at all. They followed this up with a little bit more damage. Addy, Swilko both going down. Slitsaw J finds out Tita as well. Trance is used by Goobs. That Trance already available, doing quite good work here with the support ultimates. But now the Drop Bears starting to find themselves a little bit of room. No longer trying to push through the chokehold. They are aggressive and they are finding the picks. Yeah, well, Swilko going down there with the beat drop available basically is the death sentence for Mindfreak. If he does get that one off, it probably keeps Mindfreak alive in that fight, and Sydney Drop Bears again are back to square one. But that's unfortunate for Mindfreak. And now they have to set their sights on defending point B. Yes, well, look there. What was that, 2.5 minutes there for the first objective. Now 5.5 available here for the third, the second, sorry. Mindfreak, look, they don't have the ultimate economy in their favor, and the Drop Bear is going to push very quickly here onto the point, going to try and make this work for them. Swilko uses that beat drop almost immediately, as you said, holding onto it from before. Self-destruct comes through. Can it find a pick? It does. It's Addy. Addy's going to go down. That is not great at all. Goobs, though, again, doing what he can to save the day. Tita picked up. Davey followed up there by the Drop Bears. They're looking like they're in a very good position right now. It's just Christoph and this self-destruct. Oh! Well, maybe Christoph and that self-destruct is going to be enough as it finds Shoyo and Bertlog. Shoyo, who did just get taken out of the mech, so he really was not in a great position at all to try and hide away. But to find Bertlog, to find the Lucio, that is quite special from Christoph. For Sydney Drop Bears, it does mean they have to sort of just back away a little bit here, reset themselves. It was a good attempt and they almost got there, but so close. Self-destruct a little too much. So close, Jordan, but out of that, they didn't even get one tick. Even though it looked like they were potentially going to capture the point there, they come away with nothing this time around. And now the going gets a little bit tougher for them. Graviton Surge coming out from Mindfreak. Yeah, Trance is popped there. The team quite low. CCam going to get caught out there by Davey. Does throw out a nice little charge, I think. But look, the rest of the team follows up. 1, 2, 3, 4. This could be big. This could be the Drop Bears finding the point. Yeah, much better Transcendence this time from a Kraken. When that Graviton Surge does come down, and then Mindfreak decide to even push into that close angle. Sydney Drop Bears, they lock them away from the point. Plus with the Graviton Surge there, keeping them away. And, well, that was probably a little easier for Sydney Drop Bears than it probably should have been. It was looking decent for Mindfreak. You know, they had 3 ultimates up. They got that grab out, and then they just kind of got absolutely steamrolled in that corridor toward the top part of the point. And yeah, push comes to shove. Sydney Drop Bears go. Again, they initiated, essentially. That was their fight on their terms.
Exactly.
They're on high ground. The rest of the teams coming, or their opponents are coming through quite a small funnel. You've got the grab, comes out almost immediately, and, well, it just didn't work out in their favour. So maybe a little bit unlucky. Maybe the Sydney Drop Bears just a little bit too good.
Well, I think in that case, Mindfreak would be hoping to have done a little bit better. But 3 minutes 44 is the time bank for Sydney Drop Bears, and that is a really, again, a scary, scary time bank for Mindfreak to have to deal with. Not only do they have to get through that first point, which it may even be difficult here against the Drop Bears defense, but then to be able to get the second capture with so much time on the board as well. It's not every day that you see that happen, especially against a team like Sydney Drop Bears. Now, looking at the compositions, once more we're onto the GOATs. Tita Watt will be onto the Winston, and I like the Winston here for Tita Watt. He seems to take good usage of the high ground and the mobility that the Winston provides over the Reinhardt. So we'll see whether or not Mindfreak are going to be able to take that head-to-head battle that they want to take. And when you have that Reinhardt, it does make it a little bit easier to sort of smash into Sydney Drop Bears than if you do have the Winston, who's maybe just a little bit easier to sort of focus down. Regardless, though, it's a tough ask for Mindfreak.
Yeah. Let's see what Mindfreak can do. A bit of a challenge for sure, Elfishguy. 3:44 is what the Drop Bears ended up with. That's almost half the map all over again. It practically is if you had 30 seconds for capturing the first point. Davey going to escort his team into the little room, and Goobs, unfortunately, the first one down. That's not the start they needed. Yeah,
Goobs just kind of got stuck in that cutout and couldn't get into the room. Maybe pushed in there by Shoyo with the boosters. Not sure. Regardless, this is definitely not the start that Mindfreak would have wanted. They really get very cleanly wiped, and just look at how much of an advantage that has given to Sydney Drop Bears when it comes to the ult economy. We're up to above 70% for 3 of them. Kraken, 50% of the Transcendence, all big important ultimates that Sydney Drop Bears are going to be able to use to stall the point later on down the track. And Mindfreak are going to be left wanting, really. Apart from Slitz or Jay, they haven't charged much up. Now, we do have a change up here. Reaper coming in. There has been those Reaper changes, where he does heal quite a little bit more. But I don't know that it's going to necessarily bring him into the meta. You would think it would, but against the GOATS composition, I'm not sure that it's going to work. We'll see, though, if Mindfreak can actually make something interesting happen here.
Davey low, Goob's going to get bound out again, and the rest of the team, unfortunately, for Mindfreak will follow. I was going to say earlier that I felt that on defense, Goobs did a very, very good job of at least doing what he can to keep his team going. This time around, it seems like they're almost focusing him, potentially as a result of running that aggressive Winston instead of the Reinhardt. A very clean fight win for Sydney Drop Bears, though it does allow 60% of the Death Blossom to be built up. So nicely done from Christoph. Even though the fight was over pretty quickly, the Reaper lasted for a while. Might get a good Death Blossom off here. Grab comes through the team, caught in the middle. Addy very low, will go down, and see ya later. Shoyo finds another 3. Slitzel J followed up there by a Kraken, throws out a little robot fist, and that should be enough. Half of the time here for Objective A now gone. Mindfreak 1:55 on the clock. Sydney Drop Bears sitting pretty here with a number of ultimates to work with. Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, really, for Mindfreak, what we are waiting for is the Graviton Surge Death Blossom combo. We obviously don't have the Self-Destruct, we don't have that Diva, so this Reaper needs to manage some sort of something to open this up for Mindfreak. He needs some sort of something. That is right, Jordan. I will definitely agree with that. And Earthshatter is not a bad way to start, but both of the support ultimates used immediately there by the Drop Bears again. Were they both needed? I would say no. No, probably not, but it's better to use both there than to use neither there, if that makes sense. Yes, that is very true. If they use neither, they all die. If they use both, at least they last one more fight. I guess the problem with something like the Earthshatter is you're not 100% sure whether your counterpart got knocked down or not. It would usually be the Lucio, I think, that would deal with the Earthshatter, and the Transcendence is saved for the grab, which now we don't have. So maybe you could argue that that was a little bit of an incorrect play out from a Kraken. Now we've got the grab, the Death Blossom. This absolutely should be a fight for Mindfreak. There is nothing that Sydney Drop Bears can do to defend against it. Throws it right into the wall, catches out a couple of players. Bertlog down, but that's all they get from that one. Death Blossom used, CKM found out. That's 2 down. The rest of the team follows up. Huss goes through as well. Mindfreak now will be able to successfully push onto Objective A just with 30 seconds on the clock. That'll give them 4.5 minutes to work their way through. The second objective once a minute is gone, they will be behind. But at least they are successful this time around.
Well, a lot of that comes down to the fact that they did use the double support ultimate there for Sydney Drop Bears. I mean, like I said, there was absolutely no way that Mindfreak loses that fight when they have Grab and they have Death Blossom, and Sydney Drop Bears have got not one single defensive support ultimate. So fairly straightforward for Mindfreak there to actually end up getting that point. But already you look at the time bank and you see Sydney Drop Bears, they are going to have a time bank advantage. Mindfreak is not going to cap this within the next 15 seconds, especially with Bertlog finding a pick like that.
Yes, definitely not the start they wanted there, but the question is, can they do something on this second objective, keep a bit of time in the bank, and then turn around their hopes and dreams here the second time around? Anything is possible. At least it was not a full hold of the first objective. But it's going to be tough. The second objective, always that much tougher. Objective B on Assault. Yeah. Defender's advantage.
Oh, Haas almost gets caught out. A clutch armor pack does keep him alive, but here comes the push from Mindfreak. Yeah. Very aggressive.
An aggressive sound barrier going to kick this fight off. Grab used as well there by Haas, looking to find some picks. Will go low, stays alive. Davey throws out an Earth Shatter. Didn't see it find anyone. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. Either way, self-destruct from Shoyo finds Davey and Addy there, 2 big picks, and that should be the end of the push.
I do just want to correct you for a second there, Ben. Yes. The Earth Shatter from Davey is really what I think kept Mindfreak alive that long. They were all caught up in Huss's grab, and if the Earth Shatter didn't come across, then obviously we would have seen a pretty quick clean-up from Sydney Drop Bears. In the end, they do clean it up as well.
Good job, Davey.
But Davey did hit a fairly okay Earth Shatter, I'll say it that much at least. For now, though, Sydney Drop Bears holding on strong. They have the Earth Shatter. And also the interesting part about this, of course, is we do have that honor on Bertlog, which we didn't really mention earlier. To be able to have that nano boost, put it onto a Reinhardt in a position like this, it's going to be an absolute blender.
Peter Watt sitting on an Earth Shatter of his own, going to get charged back. I'm not 100% sure if you found out. I think a couple plays did go down, countered there by a Transcendence. Peter Watt down 50%, getting healed back up right now. Rally popped as well. Nothing now left available for the Drop Bears. Addy, on the other hand, does have that Graviton Surge available, throws it out. Does get eaten there by Christoph, sorry, by Shoyo, apologies. So that's a pretty big pick as well. And you can see, I feel like there was a little bit there where Mindfreak were like, do we throw this out? Christoph, sorry. Addy. Yeah, Addy was like, do I throw this out? Yeah. That's the question.
100% you throw it out. Like, that is a situation for Mindfreak where they had about 5 seconds there where they were actually winning that fight. Sydney Drop Bears threw their ultimates in. Nice sleep dart there, by the way, from Bertlog. But there was 5 seconds there where Mindfreak were pushing Sydney Drop Bears back. Sydney Drop Bears had no ultimates. They knew that they needed to give ground and provide time for some ultimates to come up for a Kraken with the Transcendence. I think Huss was getting close to the grab. I'm not sure what happened there. But regardless, they needed to give ground, and that was the moment where Mindfreak could push forward and take the fight win, but they just weren't quite able to capitalize on it. Maybe they didn't recognize it at the time. Now we're back to square one, where they need to take control of this high ground once again.
Certainly do. Christoph sitting on a self-destruct as well. Not a bad position, to be perfectly honest, to use the Diva Bomb as far as I'm concerned. Mindfreak are slowly holding the high ground, but they will take damage over time. The question is, at what point do they engage? How do they engage?
At the moment, they really seem like they want to just try and do some chip damage to Sydney Drop Bears. Kraken throwing out the Transcendence here. This should be Sydney Drop Bears' fight done and dusted. Mindfreak won't invest anything more in here, which is a good decision. But again, it's just going to cost them time. They've built up probably 6 ultimates for the final fight, but now, best case scenario for Mindfreak is essentially we're looking at a tied map, right? If they cap this one out as that overtime ticks over, Sydney Drop Bears, they have 3 minutes and 44 then to cap point A, or cap 1 tick of point A. There's no chance Mindfreak is going to get this with time left available to give them another opportunity to attack. So, yeah, best case scenario for Mindfreak is it's a tied map, and in that case now, Sydney Drop Bears have already won the series. Yep,
well, Mindfreak at least have 6 ultimates to make this work, but it's going to be tough. As you see that grab coming through from Haas right up on top, looking to follow it up. A lot of support ultimates being used here by Mindfreak as well, trying to make their way onto the point. Davey, though, will get caught out there by Haas. Self-destruct coming through from Christoph, looking to find some kills. It's Titawat who goes down. That's not a bad one at all. Shoyo found out also. But Kraken brings it back. Mindfreak potentially can bring this through into overtime and capture the point, but it could be tough.
It could be tough indeed, but they are getting those picks that they need. So Sydney Drop Bears, they're actually going to have to stagger their way on here. Titawat, really the last one alive at the moment. Now the cap only just starting to get ticked up here. Kraken does still have a Transcendence, which he can use to stall just for a moment, but I'm not sure that this is going to be enough. I don't think Sydney Drop Bears can come back from this. Surely not.
Well, with Shoyo going down to Swilko, this could be enough for Mindfreak to capture the point. One can only hope for them. Haas is there. CKM going to come through. Goobs pops the Transcendence. Will this be enough to keep Mindfreak nice and healthy on point?
You need to kill Swilko. T2 just needed to swing one time to kill Swilko. You need to be finding those picks. Obviously, it's not really very easy in that scenario to kind of make that decision, but if Mindfreak or rather if Sydney Drop Bears wanted to come back into that fight, then they needed to be able to get that pick or get multiple picks, which they didn't. Anyway.
Yeah. I'm still not 100% sure what happened to both those Graviton Surges 2 fights ago. Look, I'll have to go back and have a look at the replay later. I almost felt like it was actually Christoph who caught Haas's, but then where did Addy's go?
Must have gotten caught by Shoyo.
I didn't see it on the screen. Maybe
I think I think the feed showed Christoph's something. It showed Christoph being defense matrix by Shoyo, which obviously doesn't make sense.
Yes.
Because Diva, right?
Yes.
But anyway, doesn't matter.
I'm still not sure.
Don't worry about it, Ben. Don't worry about it. I'll have a look later. For Sydney Drop Bears, they've essentially achieved their goal here. Yep. Really, they've already got this through to a minimum tie. Realistically, with 3 minutes 44 on the clock, to get one tick onto point A, probably not too difficult for Sydney Drop Bears here. So I think we can kind of consider Sydney Drop Bears fairly solid here on Hanamura. I got to give credit to Mindfreak though to be able to actually finish that map off. It didn't look like they were going to be able to do that, and I certainly wouldn't have.
It's a good result anyway.
Yeah, I would not have predicted that they were going to. So they've exceeded my expectation today, at least on Hanamura. But if they can turn this into a tied map, that actually could be big. You know, like we say, okay, Sydney Drop Bears have won the series, but end of the day, it does come down to maps as well at the end of the season. And we said it, we've said it last season, every season.
We harp on about it, and people think we're morons. And you could be right, but we're still correct about map results being important. So we'll see how this one plays out. Can Mindfreak hold out for 3 minutes and 23 seconds? It is a big ask.
Yep. Definitely a very, very tough ask, but still a doable task. Sydney Drop Bears taking a different route this time on their attack. Trying to get up toward that high ground. It's going to be T2 that will drop first, but everyone will follow. T2 goes flying off. So right now it's a 5v6. T2 needs to run back into the fight, but still Sydney Drop Bears are winning.
Yeah, Davies, Little J both found out that this could be a very quick capture here on Objective A. Coming out from the Sydney Drop Bears. They lose. Swilko! Oh my goodness. You crazy man.
Yeah, Frogger, eat your heart out. Swilko is the new Lucio man in town.
Frog who?
Yeah, never heard of him, actually.
JK, mate. JK.
I think he's like some streamer or something. Anyway, look, very nice from Swilko. Very nice indeed. And that is going to keep Mindfreak in the fight for a moment, but I don't know how much longer. Look at the ultimates coming up on both sides.
Davey a little bit unlucky there. Throws out at the Earth Shatter. An Earth Shatter that he needed to use, unfortunately, does not come out just how he wanted. And the Sydney Drop Bears find themselves another victory. 3 from 3 here for maps for our first matchup here of Season 1 2019. And of course, still one to go.
Still one to go. And yeah, exactly. Every single map still important. So 3 on the board. You want 4. I think if you're Sydney Drop Bears, you're looking at this matchup as a 4-0 matchup. You're probably looking at the majority of matches in Overwatch Contenders this season as a 4-0. For them, you know, they didn't drop a single map in the regular season last season, which is a pretty good achievement. But if they were able to do that again this season, I think that's when that really becomes a really important factor.
Do we keep saying that every season? Like, well, you're right? Because the group, there is one group.
Exactly.
There's no, the top seed.
The competition is strong.
Literally, you take the other top seed and you put it in the opposing group, and they don't have to verse them to the end of the year. So that's not happening here in 2019. Everyone plays everyone.
Yeah, exactly. So that would make it more of an impactful thing, I think, for me, if they were able to do it, you know, against the likes of Order or Blank or Melbourne Mavericks, etc. All those kinds of teams that we look to maybe be able to take a map off of Sydney Drop Bears. But obviously that's something to discuss later on down the track. For Mindfreak, they now have lost this series, but it's a case of trying to find that last map, which if they do manage to get that, getting a map off of a team like Sydney Drop Bears, I think is more important or more impactful to your overall standings than getting a map off another team, because the assumption is that most teams would not be able to get a map off of Sydney Drop Bears.
Well, that's it, right? It's probably one of the more difficult maps, opponents that you can find here. So if you can find yourself that map, you're going to be feeling not too bad, to be perfectly honest, and it wouldn't be a bad result here for Mindfreak. However, even if they can't come away with the victory, I still feel that we're seeing quite a lot of good plays coming out from Mindfreak, and not a bad starting position for them to kick the season off.
It's always kind of hard to get a gauge of where a team sits, especially in such a mismatch like this one. You know, like we come into it obviously saying that we think that Sydney Drop Bears should win it, and we should expect to see them win it pretty comfortably, but we really need to see similar matchups to be able to discern where teams are going to lie within that top 8. Now, if you look at, for example, you go into this season thinking about power rankings, you know, you say Sydney Drop Bears is number 1, you say Order is number 2, you probably put Legacy and Mindfreak down toward the bottom end of things. But when it gets toward that middle of the pack area, even for Legacy and Mindfreak, because Legacy are all new players and Mindfreak technically finished lower than them in trials, it's all a bit wishy-washy. You can make your arguments, but you really have to see them play against the same sort of situated teams to really get a great idea of actually where they are going to sit toward the end of the season and who's actually the better team or not. So I think this one, you know, it gives us a bit of an idea of, obviously, Sydney Drop is still very strong, Mindfreak still working their way into contenders, but we need to see the matches like Mindfreak versus Legacy to really get an idea of how we're going to be looking at the rankings toward the middle and end stages of the season.
Well, Rialto will be the 4th and final map here to kick things off for 2019. And as we said, we're going to play these 4 maps all week long. That's how it works. So you'll get to
So now you know the map pool for the rest of the week.
Secret revealed. But it's okay.
And if you wanted another secret, if we do get to a tiebreaker, which we won't here, Nepal is going to be the tiebreaker map for the week. But
spoilers.
Looking at this first match, obviously we're not expecting the tiebreaker here. And I don't think we'll be seeing it at all today, if I'm honest, Ben, considering Order and Legacy is the next matchup. But for now, Sydney Drop Bears, I'd love to see them go with something a little bit fun here, but I think again, it's just looking like it's fairly straightforward stuff. Again, Titawatt onto the Winston. Ooh.
Okay.
Shoyu got absolutely destroyed there early on in the piece, but Bertlog is getting a bit of revenge there onto Swilko. So tasted his own medicine.
Quite defensive play from the Drop Bears.
Well, they
turns into what is quite an efficient attack, I suppose, coming out from them. Kind of baiting Mindfreak back into spawn and cleaning them up ever quicker as they do. The payload now going to get on moving. The Drop Bears in a good position.
That would not have been the initial intention for Sydney Drop Bears. They were not expecting Mindfreak to be holding that far forward, and it was lucky that it was Shoyo, the one that went out first, because he's the one that can really take all of that damage and still get out of it alive with the boosters. For Mindfreak, it does cost quite a lot, because it means that they're not going to have a really good opportunity to hold this second corner. The payload is already kind of out into the courtyard, so may have lost a chance here to hold that corner, which is a very strong spot.
This is where you want to play, essentially, and unfortunately, Mindfreak not going to be in prime position, but Titawatt will go down. Grab going to be used, and Transcendence followed up as well. No damage going to go down there, unfortunately, for the Drop Bears, but Mindfreak maybe can find themselves in a little bit of a better position now. Maybe that payload's going to start moving backwards as well. Maybe they will get a shot to hold this corner.
Yeah, it does look like they've at least managed to stabilize themselves. So in the end, Mindfreak with that forward hold, it hasn't cost them too much. Christoph has to use the self-destruct to remech. Little unfortunate, means no grab surge combo.
Look, it's a 1-for-1 in terms of Diva ults, and neither team comes out on top. It's also a trade when it comes to Reinhardt's. Now these teams are big shield less. So look at all the ultimates the Drop Bears have. That's the real thing. You
need to keep your eyes on Shoyo right now, because this is where he can really step up and win this for Sydney Drop Bears, win this point for them. If he eats the grab here, that's probably it, done and dusted. And you can see he's really waiting for it. Titawatt gets back in the mix.
Oh, look at that Shatter coming through. I don't know if it found anyone. Swilko about to go down. See you later, Slitzel J. Going to get found out as well. All of the ultimates being thrown out at once by Mindfreak. Is it going to be enough? They find CKM. They find Titawatt. And they're going to be on the payload, and maybe we'll be able to stabilize with 1:30 on the clock.
Yeah, doing pretty well here, Mindfreak. Got to give them some credit. Nice grab out from Addy, nicely timed, and they also follow up on it, even despite the fact that there is the sound barrier coming down from Bertlog. So Sydney Drop Bears, they've, I don't know, it feels like they're managing their ult economy a little bit weirdly, and I think that kind of started with Huss throwing the grab out really early after Titawatt just died, and that's kind of put them in a bit of a situation where they kind of have to work their way back into it in terms of making it even, because right now it's still a little bit unbalanced, a little bit mismatched.
Yeah. Looking for a big self-destruct. Finds a Kraken. Davey comes through as well. It's
Husk
only one goes down. That's Addy, but this might be enough here. 60 seconds on the clock. The Drop Bears, are they going to be able to find the payload?
I don't know at this point, Bennett. It's not looking like it. I mean, when you think about how this map has played out so far, with 45 seconds left on that timer, Mindfreak, with the ultimates that they have right now, should absolutely be able to hold. Slitz4j getting picked there, though, that's really bad. A little bit of an overcommitment from him, and this is going to force Mindfreak back. This is an opportunity for Sydney Drop Bears where they have 6 alive. Sure, Shoyo's at the back, but he's going to get to the fight a lot quicker than what we're going to see Mindfreak be able to have 6 at.
Payload pushing through. Shoyo, what can he do with this self-destruct? What is the positioning? Shatter comes through, doesn't find what it needs to. Titawat throws out one of his own. Big Shatter coming through there. It's Titawat going to go down to Addy. Kraken going to pop his Transcendence, but Mindfreak still with players alive. Christoph has his own self-destruct, brings it through. Self-destruct going up on top of the players, finds 2. Jordan, I'm saying it right now. I'm saying it right now. This is going to be the first map that the Drop Bears lose of the regular season.
I'm not prepared to call it just yet.
I'm saying it now.
I'm not prepared to call it just yet.
I'm calling it now.
But it is a very real possibility. Mindfreak, I mean, that is a very solid defense. I think off the back of some mistakes from Sydney Drop Bears, to be fair, the ult management from Sydney Drop Bears, I didn't feel like they were really getting value out of any of their ults really there at all. So that's something that's very uncharacteristic from Sydney Drop Bears, but also, of course, you have to give credit to Mindfreak. It was, again, a great Earthshatter hit by Davey, which gave them the advantage in that final fight there. Nice grab coming out from Addy, which eventually cleans things up.
Yep.
All in all, Mindfreak played that one really well, taking advantage of the mistakes of Sydney Drop Bears. And now Sydney Drop Bears are faced with a situation where they have to defend
Mindfreaks in the chat if you think it's going to happen.
Point. And I don't know if Ben, look, I've seen this before.
I'm hyping the people.
I have seen it before. If you remember Hanamura defense, where, well, Hanamura attack where Sydney Drop Bears didn't get a single. Like, they didn't cap the point. They still managed to full hold it.
Yep.
So I'm not prepared to say that Sydney Drop Bears have lost this on until the fat lady sings, metaphorically speaking.
Yes, well, I am. I'm prepared to say it, Jordan. I'm putting it out there right now. Mindfreak going to win a map. It's going to be Rialto. The Drop Bears still going to come out 3-1 on top. Look, I've got no idea, but this is...
We've seen
Wouldn't that be a heck of a start to the season?
It definitely would. It would really throw a bit of a spanner in the works. And we have seen some pretty crazy things happen on this point of Rialto before. If you look back to Season 2 finals with Punk, with the self-destruct that put Sydney Drop Bears, that put Darksided through to the season finals.
Yeah.
These kinds of things happen on Rialto,
I feel like Rialto is actually only Objective A. Like, that's the most exciting part of Rialto for me. It always has some craziness, that is for sure.
It's a difficult one to push through, Ben. It's a difficult one. So let's not say that Mindfreak have won just yet, but this is the best chance that they have had this entire series.
They can pick a map off Mindfreak. They're going to be very happy with today's result. Sorry, off the Drop Bears. Mindfreak will be very happy. They're going to get onto the payload and get it through the first corner without any sort of hassle here. Jordan, what are the Drop Bears going to do on defense? Yeah,
I don't know, but I think for Mindfreak right now, the real question is, what's their hashtag? Is it Get Freaky? Hashtag Get Freakies in the chat. We'll find out. God. If they win this, I'm hoping to see something exciting.
It's not going to be off that fight by the looks of things.
And if you say it's Freak Up, that's a terrible, terrible hashtag.
Surely that's not that. I don't believe that.
I think hashtag Get Freaky is much better.
All right. 3 minutes to work with. Addy will find Haas. The payload makes it round the corner as well. They're getting ever closer. 30 meters remains.
And still 3 minutes as well on the clock. So Mindfreak, what they really should be doing here, right, is they should just be waiting out, trying to take some dry fights and force some Sydney Drop Bears ultimates, go into what could be the final fight with 6 ultimates available. They don't need to win it here.
Look at all the
they need to win it in 3 minutes.
Just throw them out, boys. Mindfreak, throw us out all your ultimates. Let's see what you can do. Goob's holding onto that trance as well. Davey has an Earthshatter available. A Kraken, though, does have his ulti, pops the trance.
Shadow was good.
Self-destruct comes through as well, looking to find kills. It's a 1-for-1. Self-destruct's on both sides of the board. Goob's about to lose that Transcendence as well. The payload very, very close. But the Drop Bears, they're in an okay position. Still safe, as to be expected from this expert team.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And that was one opportunity now down the toilet for Mindfreak. They haven't managed to make it work this time, using quite a few ultimates there. But like I said, Ben, I would really like to see Mindfreak try to build a lot of ultimates at one point.
Right? Let's
they only need to win one fight.
Yes.
They only need to win one fight.
Yeah,
this is like
100%.
standard overtime stuff, right? When you're pushing the payload in overtime and you're on the defense, right? You just need to win that one fight to break that overtime. So you save your ultimates until the last minute. For Mindfreak, that's what I want to see them do. I want to see them save all those ultimates when it's 30 seconds left on the clock, win that fight. That's all you need to do. And then you push the payload through, you win the map.
Mindfreak going to try and take the high ground, drop in over the top. Tita not in prime position, boot back for now, still alive. David gets charged through, he goes down, Smoko found out as well. 1:30 on the clock, Mindfreak lose this fight as well. The Drop Bears showing us what they are made of right now.
I think now this is where the pressure starts to come back onto Mindfreak, right? Where Sydney Drop Bears, if they come into this, the first part of this round, they'd be thinking, okay, we don't want to lose this map. But now they've held a little bit. They've got themselves in that mojo. They've got a little bit of momentum now in their favor. And Mindfreak's starting to think, oh, gosh, we've only got a minute left on the clock. This might not be doable. The Sydney Drop Bears are going to get the 4-0. So Mindfreak, the pressure is now on them.
All right, going to come through, staying on the low ground for now. Addy looking for a big grab. Sound barrier used almost immediately there by Swilko. Not a bad start for them. Grab comes through, does catch the team off guard. Captures a lot of players actually in this one. Sound barrier used also. Looking to find Tita, not going to be successful this time around. Mindfreak though still very, very healthy. And look at that.
Doable.
Huge Earth Shatter comes through. Bertlock, Tita both down. This is the last hope.
Self-destruct, Ben. If it doesn't get anything, that's probably the win now for Mindfreak.
Is this going to be it, Jordan? Mindfreak on the payload, pushing forward, trying to take a regular season map win off the Sydney Drop Bears. The Drop Bears going to be rolling through. That's a huge Earth Shatter, but he can't get on the payload. It's going to happen, Mindfreak. It sounds like they've won the day. They're only going to get Rialto, but for me, Jordan, that is more than enough. Congratulations.
That is fantastic for Mindfreak. Yeah, you're right. That's more than enough. They go into this, you expect them to lose 0-4, and to be able to get even a map off Sydney Drop Bears, the first map of Sydney Drop Bears of the season, which we would not have thought was going to come in this first match. That's a performance from Mindfreak that I think they can be happy with. As a new team, as a team that, you know, was such an underdog here, to be able to take a map off of Sydney Drop Bears is phenomenal.
It is indeed. Congratulations to Mindfreak Tree picking that one up. But of course, congratulations to the Sydney Drop Bears. Going to pick up their first match win here of Season 1 2019. Going to get points on the board. Potentially not as many points as it could have been, but a win is a win, Elfishguy.
Absolutely. Time to get freaky, Ben, because I think that is a good start to the season for Mindfreak. And there was a lot of good plays throughout the entire series from Mindfreak, and particularly I want to give a shout out to Davey, I think, who's been performing really, really well on the main tank role. That does give you some hope looking forward to the rest of the season here for Mindfreak. Coming into it, I was not sure what we were really going to see from this roster, whether it was going to be another maybe, not necessarily quote-unquote failed experiment, but we've seen in the past where rosters have kind of mashed together teams of different players that you think, okay, this is a new roster, this is players that we've seen before, but we're not sure how they're going to play together, and they haven't really worked out so well. But early signs there for Mindfreak show that they could do all right. Yeah,
definitely. Look, if they could have asked for anything to come out of this match, I think they would say, if we can take one map off the Sydney Drop Bears, we will be happy with our first match. And look, that's exactly what they're going to get here. The Sydney Drop Bears, of course, going to pick up 3 map wins and the victory to start off their season. But I'm not going to say there's questions here, but the streak is broken.
Look, yeah, the streak is broken. I mean, Sydney Drop Bears, they would have wanted the 4-0 today. They've got a new main tank. They've probably got to try and...
that's a pretty big change, right?
It is, it is. I mean, especially in the GOATS meta where your main tank is so important. I think, you know, for Sydney Drop Bears, there's definitely going to be a lot of work done in this next coming week, because that's not a result that they would have wanted. And in fact, I think that's quite a disappointing result for Sydney Drop Bears after having that perfect season last season and how we were sort of talking it up. Maybe they can get one again this season. Well, that's not a storyline anymore, unfortunately, for Sydney Drop Bears. And for an organization and a team that has that kind of prestige to now drop a map in their first match of the season, you know, is that a metaphor or a look into the future perhaps down the track where this might not be the season for Sydney Drop Bears?
I don't know. I guess, to be fair, we probably did expect that this season was going to be the season where that undefeated regular season comes to an end, because, of course, everyone's in the same group. Everyone has to play each other. You don't have the other top seed in the other group, which kind of does sort of lend itself to you going undefeated in the regular season if you're quite strong. But if they were going to lose a map, it probably didn't expect it to be against Seed 8 in the first match of the game.
Exactly, and that's the question mark now for me. So I don't expect that it's going to be the end of the world for Sydney Drop Bears. Like, yeah, you lose a map, but it is only one map. They've still got plenty more matches, And I think this is a team that's going to be able to go back and reflect quite well on themselves and look at that VOD and look at what they did wrong there and figure out why they actually lost that map and come back next week with an absolute vengeance, because that is not a performance that Sydney Drop Bears want to repeat. They want to continue to say that they are the best in the region. They want to continue to show that to all the other teams and keep that sort of fearful nature of the rest of the teams of them. But if they're not going to be able to get maps off, for example, Mindfreak, then that leaves the door open for the other team. So they need to fix it, and they need to fix it next week.
Certainly do. Well, Elfishguy, it's that time of the day. We're going to kick this one off with a Macca's play of the game. A McDonald's Australia play of the game for something entirely different, Jordan. It's going to be a McCree. Huss coming through. He picks up Slitzel J once, and I think he comes through and even picks him up again. Yeah,
he does, actually. He gets 2 kills on Slitzel J in 1 clip. And really, this is the passage of play that actually did allow Sydney Drop Bears to push through not only this first part of Eichenwald so quickly, but also into Phase B. Hits quite a few headshots there onto Slitzel J, which is really what you need to be doing when you're trying to kill the Pharah Mercy combo. Follows it up, of course, with the Deadeye. And it's a clean wipe, really, from Sydney Drop Bears here, which then, obviously, like I said, allows them to push through into Phase B. And great work from Huss, and congratulations on the Big Mac.
Congratulations indeed. Elfishguy's going to buy you that one next time we see him, and good guy, Elfishguy, just like that. And that's our Macca's play of the game, the first one of the 2019 regular season. Yeah,
I'm sure there's going to be a big battle for all those Big Macs, or the Macca's play of the games. That seems to be what all the players try to look for. They're always excited about that, so nice for Huss.
And it's not a Diva Bomb, and it's not a Graviton Surge.
Actually, what I was going to say is that last season, I think the first Macca's play of the game also went to Huss with the Graviton Surge from Hollywood on Point C, if you remember.
Okay, well, that's match 1 done and dusted. Of course, we do still have 1 match remaining today. Coming up next, it's going to be Order up against Legacy. Seed 2 versus Seed 7. Let's see if this one has some upsets as well.